with regards to, we did at the courts continue to ask us to try to work together. We certainly did go out there to the location and looked at the vehicle. I told Mr. Evans about this. We would have a motion limited to preclude any questioning or any commenting made regarding the defense attorneys and our going out to the location, looking around at it. I believe that comment's on the defendant's right to trial, right to remain silent. And certainly, if we did not go out there and they were able to comment on that, then that's suggesting something we did not do something that we should have, when in fact we have no duty to do anything whatsoever.
Well, let me interrupt you. Is that something you intend to go into?
Well, first of all, what we discussed before, my understanding was there was going to be an objection to me asking the witness about anything that he was cross-examined on, which is fair game. And I said I would not agree to that, which is what I thought was going to be the subject of the motion in limine. I do think it's a fair question to ask the detective, was access provided to the defense so that they could view the vehicle as well. I don't think there's anything impermissible about that.
Go ahead with your argument, Mr. Lumpkin.
And just so we're clear, when I was speaking to Mr. Evans, I never mentioned the word cross-examination, so certainly I would not prevent them from asking questions about cross-examination to prove their error before. But as to any comment on anything that the defense attorneys have done, one way or the other, is absolutely a comment upon Mr. Harris's right to remain silent, right against self-incrimination, right to a fair trial. It's simply not relevant. Frankly, it would make us witnesses in the case, which certainly we're not in a position to be able to do that at this point. So the fact that it's made available to us, that's great, but it's simply not relevant to go into what we did or did not do, because it gives the suggestion to the jury that somehow we're in agreement. Certainly we are not. The discovery rules are what they are. They should not be brought up in front of this jury. The state's been doing it repeatedly this morning, talking about things that have been provided to the defense, even though there are other things that have not been provided to us that we're not allowed to ask questions about. So it's just simply this particular matter, it'd be inappropriate for them to question or bring up anything about what they observed the attorneys doing involved in this case. So we'd ask that be excluded.
Let me respond to him. I won't go into that area unless or until it somehow becomes relevant because of something that occurs on cross-examination. But absent them doing that, I won't ask them whether the opportunity was provided at present. I could foresee that it might become a relevant topic depending on how cross-examination goes.
Well, I don't see its relevance. And if they open the door, you're certainly welcome to walk through. But as it stands, I don't find discovery efforts, investigation by attorneys in developing their case to be relevant. And so I don't even know, that's not even granting the motion in limine. I guess I am. If you decide that you feel that the door's open, Mr. Evans, you'll need to ask to approach the bench.
Yes, ma'am.
You know? Right.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I believe that's the only matter.
Very good. Let's bring the jury in.
It's all right for the jury.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed your lunch. I think those of us who got to have some of that salad and those crackers were very happy too. Really super duper. So thank you for that. We're ready to resume the trial, and you can proceed.
Thank you. Statement called Walter Pineda. Good afternoon, sir. Would you please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury by telling them your name and then spelling it so the court reporter gets it down right?
My name is Walter Pineda, W-A-L-T-E-R, Pineda, it's P-I-N-E-D-A.
And Mr. Pineda, where do you live? You don't have to give me your address, but what part of the
I live
state?
in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. What do you do for a living, sir?
I do video analysis
Okay.
and photography also.
How long have you been involved in the field of video analysis, enhancements, and things like that?
Since 1989.
And how did you get involved in that?
I used to work for a company called Pinkerton, and we used to do all the video analysis for financial institutions.
As a part of that, and part of your, I guess, your experience over the years, have you had the opportunity to work in video analysis by attempting to, when you have a video, basically zoom in on a photograph to make it larger, to enhance the ability to view it?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And have you, as far as that, have you had training and experience in doing that?
I have a degree in photography and video analysis
And
in professional photography.
can you estimate how many times over the years you've been asked to do video analysis?
A lot.
Have you ever testified as an expert in the field of video analysis and enhancement?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how many times have you testified in this field approximately?
Over 50 cases.
Are most of those in Atlanta, or Fulton County, DeKalb County, in the metro area?
Yes, sir.
And specifically regarding, are some of those involving video enhancement and analysis?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would tender Mr. Pineda as an expert in the field of video enhancement and analysis.
I don't think I'll have any objections, but if I could just ask a couple of questions, I'll beg you. Thank you. In the cases in which you've testified, were those criminal cases?
Yes.
Okay. And have you been tendered as an expert in cases where you're doing video analysis of surveillance videos?
Yes.
Okay. Your primary work in doing video analysis, is that mostly with surveillance videos?
Yes.
Okay. And then with financial institutions, were those with surveillance videos as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have a lot of experience with surveillance videos?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any objection to it.
Lisa testify.
Thank you. Mr. Pineda, just in this case, were you asked to look at two different videos regarding parking lot surveillance involving, in this case, State versus Justin Ross Harris?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And when you looked at those videos, were you given certain times and asked to basically zoom in or enhance the video so it would appear closer up in view?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked for identification purposes as State Exhibit 652. Mr. Pineda, showing you State 652. Ask you if you recognize this flash drive.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what is it that's contained on this flash drive?
It has all the videos involved in this case and all the video analysis from the images extracted from the video.
And when you took the videos, what did you actually do to them as far as analyzing them?
I got involved in the analysis of someone being there from 8 o'clock in the morning, noontime, and in the afternoon. I got the images of a person moving, and I was able to get closer and close up.
Okay. And during that, were you able to, what technology and what software or what machinery, whatever it is, technology do you use to actually do that?
I have a computer in which you have the capability to use Photoshop. When you get Photoshop, you get a whole broad image, and then you will be able to cut it and be able to get closer and closer to the image I'm working for.
Now, does that in any way change the actual nature, the actual video or photograph, or is it just a closer view of it?
Just a closer view, nothing is altered.
Okay. And the pixels, does it come to a certain point where you really can't make it out the closer you get in because it's too pixelated?
Yes.
Okay. And State's Exhibit 652, are these the actual still frame photographs that you made zooming in on the video frames from the two videos you were providing?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would tender State's Exhibit 652.
And that is,
And now, Mr. Pineda, I'm just going to show you what's been marked for identification purposes and shown to defense as State's Exhibits 654 through 835. I'm not going to ask you to look through each one of these. Have you looked through these already today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and are these exact copies of the photograph stills on that flash drive as far as the lunchtime video regarding the video you were asked to look at and try to get in closer up on?
Yes.
Okay, and is this the closer view?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And other than not printing all the ones of the defendant in the front, middle view, still sitting in the car, other than taking those out, are these exact photos of that time?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I would tender State's Exhibit 654 through 835. Now, Mr. Pineda, what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish to the jury and go through the photographs that you took, the video enhancement as far as the still shots from your flash drive. What I plan on doing for the jury is just to go through Mr. Pineda, and I'm just going to go as to each photograph and pause for a few seconds before going to the next one, okay? This is cam left front, 1241, 1242, going too closer. Sorry, I don't see how to change this to the full screen display. You know what? What I'll do is I'm going to actually introduce this in the Mondo Pad form. Lord help me. now I'm going to go to the front parking, same time, closer. And actually, I think I need to pull this up, try to pull this up in the other version. So I can see the numbers. I'm just going to where these photos actually start, where the hard copies are printed out. The $5.99. Last three numbers here. I'm going to start going to these photographs. Mr. Pineda, these photographs that you have right here, these are, I guess, a little bit smaller than the screen, correct? Are these, as far as the images captured on those photographs we just saw on the screen, are those also here in a smaller form in the photographs, the same ones?
Yes, sir.
I believe that's all I have, Judge.
That's okay. Mr. Pineda, I may have missed this on direct. Who contacted you in regards to hiring you for your services in this case?
The DA's office, Charles.
Ms. Warren?
Warren.
Yes, okay. And I mean, what specifically were you tasked to do in this case?
He said he had 2 videos that he wanted me to take a look and see if I could enhance the images.
Do you remember which 2 videos?
Yes, sir. Exactly the same one that we saw, but you see a broader image of the whole parking lot.
I know that you haven't been here for all the testimony that's gone on. We've actually gotten a group of videos from Home Depot, and then we've also gotten some videos that were enhanced by David Tyler. Do you know which videos you were asked to do enhancements of?
From Home Depot.
From the original videos?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you seen the David Tyler enhancements?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in being asked to do enhancements of the Home Depot surveillance footage, did you identify any issues with the quality of the surveillance videos that you thought, yeah, you could offer your services, you could enhance them?
Yes.
Okay. And what particular areas of the surveillance video did you feel that you'd be able to offer some enhancements?
With the video analysis, when the person that he was wanting me to put in the video, when he was walking.
And having been given the original Home Depot surveillance videos, how did you feel that you could make them better or easier for us to see?
Just to get closer, I have to resize the image. It's like having an apple, you cut it in one portion, but it's enhanced.
Okay.
So you get to a viewing where you can see it closer. If you get very close, then it will be grainy.
I see. Was there anything that you were able to see after you did your enhancements that you weren't able to see before your enhancements?
What do you mean?
Well, after you did your enhancements, you said that you're able to see closer. Right? Was there anything that we're able to see on your enhancements that you couldn't see on the original Home Depot surveillance video that you received?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that exactly?
Movement of the person in the video.
Okay. You can see it a little better?
A little closer.
A little closer. Okay. It's still in, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the closest up? Closer up, closer, or bigger?
It depends.
Okay.
It goes by different writing. Closer up and bigger means the biggest or bigger.
What's the best?
It's actually the best will be the one in the middle,
The one. Okay. Closer.
closer.
Okay. Let's look closer. Okay. And this was the vehicle that you were asked to focus on in regards to the individual that ultimately comes onto the screen, correct?
Correct.
And you'd agree that there's some glare here on the windshield of this vehicle?
appears to be, yes, sir.
And in your experience and having reviewed probably thousands of surveillance videos,
Yes, sir.
and you're a professional photographer and you have education and training in photography, right?
Yes, sir.
Certainly the lighting conditions and glare can affect our ability to see inside this vehicle, right?
Correct.
But a different perspective, a different angle might actually allow us to have better lighting conditions and a better ability to see.
Correct.
There may not be glare. Right?
Might not be.
The time frames that you were asked to focus in on, those were time frames where Mr. Harris is in the parking lot, correct?
Correct.
You were never asked to do any close-ups to get a better and closer view of people that were walking by the vehicle so that the police could potentially identify those individuals.
No.
Is that something that you could do?
It can be done.
It's fair to say that perhaps with your kind of experience and seeing thousands and thousands of surveillance videos, it may be a little easier for you to identify something in a video, surveillance video, than maybe someone that doesn't have any experience in looking at surveillance footage, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay, explain.
What?
How is it that your experience in looking at thousands and thousands of surveillance videos?
It depends what you're looking for.
Okay.
If you're looking for a tag number, sometimes it's very difficult. My opinion compared to somebody else's opinion might be similar
Okay. Or it might be different.
or might be different. I can only assume that I can only say something when I gather the evidence collected on the video. I speak for what the images are saying. Can I speculate or guess?
Sure. And images or photos or videos, they kind of tell their own story, right?
Correct.
Sometimes they're open to interpretation, right?
Yes.
Okay. When it's unclear. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes videos, photos, images, they tell a very clear story, right?
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times, like with the glare, it depends on the angle that you see things, right?
Correct.
Thanks.
See any glare on the side up there at all?
I don't see it clear.
Okay. That's all I have.
Oh, yeah, sorry. One other thing. I think I misspoke about the number of paragraphs. I looked at the first one to the last one. It's actually, let's see, 654 through 900. I'm sorry. That should have been the number. So, Your Honor, just for the record, I would tender 654 through 900. That's the same photographs. I just spoke the wrong numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
This angle that we're looking at here, this is from the middle camera, correct?
I don't know where the cameras are located. I can only see what was given to me. So I haven't never been in the building.
You see here it says front parking.
I'm assuming.
And then you've got a second folder that's camera left front, correct? this is the same vehicle that we were looking at from the camera angle that was labeled on the folder as front.
Correct.
Okay. And then this one is left, right?
Like I said, I haven't been in the parking lot, but if they describe it that way,
It's just so that the jury understands where these different angles,
Yes.
these perspectives are. They're in this that we're about to look at is in the left front folder. Okay. The ones we were looking at were just the front. Okay. Mr. Pineda, can you see? Am I blocking the view?
Yes.
This isn't your enhancement, right? This is a function of the technology that we're using, correct?
perhaps.
Your work is much better than this. Right? Do you see? Oops. Do you see something inside the windshield here?
Yes,
And you don't see it on this previous photo, do you?
correct.
The difference between these two shots is that this shot here captures some movement inside the vehicle.
Correct.
Perhaps an arm?
I don't know.
You don't know. And then we don't see it there. Correct?
Correct.
Do you see some difference right in here?
Yes,
A little lighter color?
correct.
Perhaps a hand pulling back?
I don't know.
We see kind of a dark color here. You see that?
Yes,
Does that appear to be a head?
yes,
You'd agree it's above this roof line here, correct?
correct.
You still kind of see that dark color that you identified in the previous photo as being the head?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You still see that dark color that you had previously said appeared to be the head?
Yes,
And then we still see it. It's kind of moving away from the car. Right?
correct.
We still see it. It's right there, correct?
Correct.
All right. We still see it, right?
Correct.
And now we can see this discoloration here that appears to be Mr. Harris,
Correct.
and he's walking away from the vehicle, right?
Correct.
From this angle, we don't see that glare that we did from the front.
Correct.
Thank you.
he looked at these photographs on video. Did he have something white in his hand he was carrying?
Yes,
Okay. So was that also consistent with him throwing a bag inside?
it could be, yes,
So dark, a light flash, dark again.
correct.
Okay. And these, never mind. That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're free to go. Next witness.
Approach. These are nicely stacked. It'd be easier if I gave you a recording and both of this one's separate, two different angles. Let me do that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Actually, I'm gonna go back up there. I'll tell you that.
Are you going up?
Are we taking a break?
Well, I mean, I don't,
He's going to get the, she was taking a break too, so he's going to get the witnesses. So.
yeah.
I guess we don't need to go up. Yeah.
I'm just gonna do the nurture.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.